Hi guys. Okay. Today's quote. The moment you doubt, you can fly. You cease forever to be able to do it. That quote is from Peter Pan. And I'm going to be, this is kind of like a get ready with me. I'm getting ready to go on my other channel in a little bit. And I thought, well, let's go live and just hang out for a few. So have you seen Peter Pan? I think most people probably have. But this quote, I actually have it upstairs and it's at the end of our hallway because it's so true. And I always want my kids to read it too. Like I just want them to always read it. It's like right at the end of our hallway where, you go either right or left kind of thing. And it's like right at the end. I love it. The moment you doubt, you can fly. You cease forever to be able to do it. It's such a powerful quote because it doesn't matter what. If you don't believe that you can, it's not a matter of whether something works or not, or whether you can be successful doing a certain thing. It's whether you believe in you. It's whether you believe you can be successful doing it. And this has come up like just really strong with this digital marketing thing, because if you're new here, my name is Katie. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 boys, and I have been trying to figure out how to make meaningful income from home. And so I had no experience in digital marketing. I knew kind of what it was, but not really. I've been in the online space for 10 plus years doing various things, but I was missing something. I knew I was missing something, and I really was looking for the education, but it wasn't whether this program worked. It was whether I believed in myself that it would work for me. It's not a matter of the program. And this kind of goes for anything, really. Like whatever you want to do, what do you want to do? Like, I love to dream big. I love to think of the bigger purpose and the bigger picture. And I was always one of those people that would dream, but then just be like, oh, I can't do that. Like, people would judge me, and what would they say? And I'll just use an example because I'll be going live on my other channel for ASMR. I'm an ASMR artist also. And I found ASMR because I struggled with anxiety, and I don't know, some of that it just felt overwhelming, and I didn't know what it was until I found it. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit odd, but why do I like it? So it's basically just sounds that can be relaxing. Hello, welcome in. And I found myself watching and going, oh my gosh, this is amazing, because especially for somebody with an ADD brain that's like all over the place. I know I'm getting way off track from digital marketing, but that's okay, because the program is helping me. It helps with anything you do that's in the digital space, really. And okay, I'll get back to that. But when I found ASMR, it was like I could focus on the sound of whatever it was, and there's so many different styles of ASMR. But when I found it, I loved it. And then I was like, well, I want to try doing it, but will people judge me? Well, and it was kind of one of those things. And so I ended up just doing it, and it's been super fun. And so I ran into a lot of those feelings of, do I believe in myself? Do I think I can do it? It's not a matter of if people are doing it and building YouTube channels and, TikTok followings and whatever, doing ASMR. I mean, it could be anything. It could be ASMR. It could be. So this program, let me get back to it. If you haven't noticed, and I'm just going to own it now. I have an ADD brain, and forever and a day, I thought it was a bad thing. And I was like, how do I get rid of this ADD brain? How do I not have one? And it's like, I kind of just decided for me, I wanted to learn how to work with my brain instead of against my brain. So I'm still in the process, and that's kind of an everyday thing. But this digital marketing program, the Legacy Builders, it's education on basically how to get your stuff out there. Like if you're already in the online space, if you have a business, if you just don't know how to get it in front of the eyeballs, then this is a program that gives you the education on how to do that. But maybe you're somebody that doesn't have anything, but you're like, oh, I really want to be in the online space. This would be me. I already was in the online space, but I thought, well, I want to maybe have a digital product too. This program teaches you how to have your own digital product. But then also, for me, since I was so new into it, the best part was they said, well, what better way than to practice with your very own online business? Like right off the bat, you can learn and earn at the same time. And so I was like, what's the catch? Because, yeah, it sounds kind of too good to be true. It sounds kind of like everything I've been looking for. And so I was a skeptic. That was me, because that's the first thing, is people are like, oh, it's a SCAM. It's I never know if I can say these words on TikTok. Sometimes I watch people's lives and they're like, they don't say certain words. I'm like, what happens if you say that word? I don't know. Do you get in trouble? I'm a rule follower, so I need to know these things. But that's a lot of the stuff I'm learning is that stuff that I didn't know, even though I'd been in the online space. Okay, that's not working. I didn't know some of these rules that the social media platforms and the algorithms follow. I was like, okay, if I want to be in the space, I should probably know how it works. So that's how I found this opportunity. And so, hi everybody, stopping by and jumping in if you want to say hi. I'm just getting ready for my other live. But anyway, so this quote, it just brings up so much, because with anything in life, if you don't have the belief to do something, and I'll use an example for the people that will come in either to my lives or they'll post a comment on one of my videos and they'll be like, oh, that doesn't work, or that's, and they try to just kind of bash it. And I've learned to develop a different response to it, because I understand it's really hard for our brains to grab onto the idea that we can work less, make more, or that we can go left when everybody else is going right. Because that's part of my story too, is that I don't have a college degree. I just, college just wasn't for me. I tried, and I was like, well, I guess this is what everybody's doing. So I tried, but it wasn't a fit. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just kind of felt lost. And I didn't want to just pick something and just get a degree just to get a degree. It didn't it felt like I was trying to go against the grain in not a good way. It just didn't feel right. And so I scrambled trying to figure out what am I going to do, and I ended up with typing jobs. I've been a transcriptionist. So yes, it's allowed me to stay home with my kids, but the income and the expectation, and it's like, if my fingers aren't typing on the keyboard, I'm not getting paid. I'm done with that. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm sick of typing for beans. And so that's when I found myself just saying, okay, well, there's people making money online. How are they doing it? I'm not a dum-dum. I can figure this out. I just need to have the tools. And, just like with anything else, you need the education, right? But I also ran up against those doubts that were like, oh, well, that's great. They can make that kind of money, but not me. And the first step is recognizing that that's what you're saying to yourself. Because again, it's not a matter of if the program works. I don't even know the number. I was supposed to look it up. I already didn't look it up again. 20,000 plus people in our community. It works. Like, it's not a matter of that. It's just a matter of whether you believe in yourself that you can do it. And so if you find yourself saying, and this can go for an opportunity like this, or it can go for anything. Like, what is your heart's desire? Like, what is it that's stopping you from doing the thing? Like, what is it? What do you want? And what is stopping you from doing it? And maybe you don't know. This is the time to get curious and to say, okay, now I'll just run through my scenario because this is what happened. I'm like, okay, this opportunity rolls across my social media feed one day. And it was also posted by somebody that I had already known in the online space. And I just thought, okay, well, I know it's legit because this person wouldn't be posting about it if it wasn't legit. So that kind of was taken off the table right away, where I didn't have to wonder if it was an SCAM or not, even though I still had doubts. But then I came up against, well, it's everything I've been looking for. It's putting myself in a position to bring in the meaningful income that the typing is just not doing. Like, there's only so many hours in a day and so many hours that I can type. I used to type 8 hours a day and would barely make enough for anything. So it was going to put me in a position to make the meaningful income. So I'm like, okay, it checks that box. And then it was also putting me in a position where I could work less. I could work 2 to 3 hours a day and have more time to do other things. Like, I'm a DIYer and I'm a homebody. I like to do things out in the yard, and I like being home. But like the ASMR thing, like it's fun. Like, I make money doing it, but it's also just fun. And so I wanted more time to do stuff like that, like be creative. I didn't want to just sit there like I'm in my basement, but it's like so hot. It's like nice to be down here. But I knew I didn't want to just spend my life sitting here at my desk with my foot pedal and my keyboard typing and typing and typing. Because I felt like I was missing out. There were a lot of times where my family's like, oh, we're going to whatever in the evening. And I'm like, well, I didn't get my typing done for the day because my kids do online school at home too. So I'm like, oh, I was helping them. Of course, their priority. But at the end of the day, I have deadlines and I got to get this typing job done. So I can't go with you guys, whatever you're going to do that sounds really fun. I didn't want to do that anymore. My kids are growing up so fast. And I know if you have boys, you'll understand this one. But my oldest, he's almost 13. And, one day he's saying, good morning, Mom. And the next morning it's like, good morning, Mom. And then it's like, good morning, Mom. I mean, like, right before my eyes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, time is going so fast. And I love seeing them in different, scenarios, and I love each stage that my kids are going through. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be stuck in my basement typing for nothing, really. Something, but nothing at the same time. I don't know if you can relate to that. Welcome in, by the way. I would love if you guys want to just say hi and where you're from, and if it's boiling hot where you're at, like it is here in Michigan. I don't like hot weather. I like the seasons, and 80 degrees is kind of like my limit. After that, I start melting. But I am a stay-at-home mom of 2 boys, if you're just joining. And I have an ADD brain. I'm all over the place. But at the same time, I love it because an opportunity like this allows me to be creative. It allows me to do it my way. I know that reminds me of the song. I did it my way. But it's true. Because the training teaches you like how to find your perfect customer and how to be you because we can watch all these other people, and I know you guys have seen a lot of people posting about digital marketing, and they're like, oh, do you want to make, 30K in 90 days? Or, oh, I made 10K last month. And it's like, okay, maybe that's not the number for you. What if you just wanted to make, whatever the number is, by the way, it's whatever you want that's meaningful for you. It can be different than meaningful for someone else, by the way. But I found myself watching people because, of course, when you start something new, you're like, you want to learn. You're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing here? What am I supposed to be saying? And that's with anything you start. But at the same time, there was a point where you're like, okay, I get it now. But now I have to learn how to use my own voice and be who I am. And because then I'm going to connect to the people that are my perfect customer. Like, there's no competition, because my perfect customer might not be the other people's perfect customer, and vice versa. Like, that's why our community is so supportive of each other, because everyone's just like, yeah, let's do this, because everybody's perfect customer is different. Like, somebody that might resonate with what I say might be different than what resonate with somebody else. Like, but that's all beside the point, because it all starts with the belief of whether I think that I can do this or not. And I'll be honest and say, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know. It sounds great. And I am a very, like, I pray. And I've prayed and prayed and prayed, like, God, please bring me something or show me, or like guide me, because I don't want to be doing this typing thing. Like, I'm also a type of person that wants to do something for something. One of the biggest reasons I said yes to this opportunity was because I know that I can turn around and share it with somebody and that it can change their life too. Like, instantly. It's not just about me. In fact, it's not about me. And I can put this another way. I can say, the gal that created this program and this community, amazingly supportive community, if she would have said no, 20,000 people would not be changing their life too as we speak. Because she became the vehicle to sharing with others and to say, hey, guess what? You can do this too. Well, they say, like, I'm not going to gatekeep this. I don't know if I like that phrase. I feel like it's overused. But I get what they're saying. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I've always wanted. I didn't see the typing jobs that I've had. I've done medical transcription. I've done, like, interview transcription. In the medical transcription world, I was just a number in these companies. They didn't care about me, and I was typing medical reports, but I was expected to be 99% accurate, and I got paid beans to do it. I had to have a year's worth of training to even do it in the first place. But when I went to take my time off, my PTO that I had earned, and they said, oh, I'm sorry, we have too much work, so we're going to deny your request. And I was like, wait, what? No, I want to take my time off. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to approve that because we have deadlines that have to be met. I'm like, I am not just employee number 85627. I am Katie. I have a family. I'm an actual person. They didn't care. They didn't care about me. They're like, if you don't like it, then just quit. We can replace you. That's horrible. This felt so horrible to me. Like, how can I do all this work and bend over backwards and work these extra hours and type my fingers off, earn this paid time off, and then you won't even let me take it? I was so done with that. Like, that is just not right. So I've always been looking for something that not only do I have the freedom to do it my way, But I also can turn around and say, you can do this too. But it starts with the belief. I wrote it on an envelope. The moment you doubt, you can fly. You cease forever to be able to do it. So the moment that you doubt, and you're like, I don't know if you guys saw Peter Pan, but obviously in the movie, that's what happens. Like, he didn't believe, so he couldn't fly, and he couldn't have all the, like, the food fight scene. I don't know if you guys remember that, if you've seen the movie, where they're like, I remember the Robin Williams version. That's the one that's in my head. And, you know, and he was like, because all the bowls were empty and the spoons were empty, but they were like flinging it at each other and all that. And he was like, and then eventually, once he understood this concept, that if he believed, and then it was great. Then he took the spoon and he was like, and it flung this like really colorful, I don't know what it was, it looked like pudding or something. But then it was like food fight. And then you could see all the stuff that was, oh my gosh, I don't know. That was so fun. But it's so true. Because what you believe is what you create in your reality. And what you don't believe is what you create in your reality. If you focus on what you can't do and what you don't have, that's what you're going to get more of. And it's going to keep going and snowballing. And it's just like, the more you focus, like, all I do is pay bills. Well, then that's all you're going to get is more bills. If you focus on, oh, well, you know, I'm not even going to look at that opportunity because blah, blah. I forgot to say, like what I was talking about, I pray and I pray and I pray. And there's a joke that's kind of, I'll screw it up, so I'm not even going to try. But basically, if you're praying for something, you're praying for, God, please help me, guide me. And then opportunities roll, I guarantee opportunities roll across your path every day that you ignore. I did. We all do that, but it's once you realize, oh, and it's not in our timing, it's in his timing. So I could sit here and go, oh my gosh, I wish I would have found this opportunity 5 or 10 years ago. Because wow, it would have made a huge difference. But I wasn't supposed to find it then. And so when it rolled across my screen, I kind of already was working on having that awareness and saying, I'm asking for help and guidance. So if I'm not paying attention, if I'm not entertaining the opportunities that are coming across my path, how am I going to ever have something different? If you do what you always do, you get what you always got. If I was going to just stay with the typing jobs, like, well, I guess some money is better than no money. Well, I guess it's all I know. That's all I'm good at. I said all those things to myself. That's why I kept staying in that loop of what I didn't want. Yeah. So this opportunity rolls across my screen and I was just like, wait, I need to look into this. And it just so happened there was a webinar, like a free webinar the next day. And the guy that I had messaged like, I'm intrigued. He was like, all right, here's the link to the webinar. I went and I was just the whole time, I'm like, why would I not do this? You know, and of course there was all kinds of blocks popping up in my head like, do you want to invest that money in yourself? That was another block because I had been trying to figure out how to do all this stuff for free online for 10 plus years. I'm like, how'd that work out for me? I learned some things, but ultimately the investment is like your commitment to saying, I believe in myself. Think about that for a second. The investment of you saying, okay, if you don't have any skin in the game, so to speak, then are you really going to put in 100%? If you're investing in something, I got a lot of flack the last time I said this, but if you're investing in something, you are signaling to the universe, like, I am betting on me. I am putting money where my mouth is. I am saying, let's go. That is a signal to say, all right, the abundance that I want, all the things, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to invest in me. And this is the first step. And obviously, you're going to invest in something that makes sense for you. So this opportunity might not make sense for you. And it might be like, no. But what if it is for you? What if it is everything you've looked for? And I know as a stay-at-home mom, there were so many times, so many moments. I'm sure if you're a mom, you can relate, especially when you become a new mom, like your first kid. You feel like you lose your identity a little bit. You feel like you lose who you are. And I know I went through a time where I was just like, I know I'm mom. And by the way, don't ever, ever say you're just a mom. I hear sometimes people, especially stay-at-home moms, and people are like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm just a mom. I just stay home and take care of my kids. Being a mom is the most important job on the planet. You're raising the next generation. So I always like to say that, because when I heard that, and when I heard it put that way, I was like, wow, that is so true. So pat yourself on the back, because you're doing an amazing job. You are a mom. It's super awesome. But I also felt like I love the title of mom, but I just felt like, but what else? Like, I feel like I'm here for more than that. And if I'm not even saying this isn't the whole time I've been a mom, because when I was first a mom, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like my everything that I'm holding. And it was all about my son, my first son. But at a certain time, I was like, okay, this is awesome, but I want more. I feel like I want more. You know, I didn't go to college. I didn't get a degree. Like, all my friends from high school and my sisters and like whoever else is like, oh my gosh, they're going to college. They're doing these things. And it doesn't feel right for me. And I spent a lot of time feeling like, I don't know if saying feeling alone is the right thing. I felt very, like I didn't connect with the people in my inner circle like I would have wanted to, like I would imagine. You know, your inner circle, and like I always describe it as they're all going right, and I'm like, yeah, I want to go left. And I know that's not the popular thing, because they're all over there. And so I questioned myself. I beat myself up over it, like mentally going, oh my gosh, Katie, why can't you just figure out something like everybody else? Like, why do you have to try to be going that way? Just go that way like everyone else and everything will work out. And every time I tried to do that, I was like, oh, but it's not it. Like, I'll do it because of course you get to a point where you're like, well, I don't know. I gotta go get a job doing something. So I'll try. And so I did that. And I bounced around and I did different things. And I just always felt like this can't be it. I can't imagine. And whatever job I was in at the time, I would be like, I can't imagine just doing this forever, because I feel like it's not fulfilling my soul. Like, I felt, even though I had zero clue on what the mission was, I felt like there's a mission for me, or there's a purpose more than just ringing groceries at the grocery store. Because, by the way, that was probably one of my favorite jobs I've had. I don't know if it was just a certain place I worked, but I don't know. I got to talk to people, and it just, I don't know what it was about that. But anyway, that's beside the point. But I always just felt like I want to do something that's going to make an impact in people's life. I don't know what it is. I knew I never wanted to be up front and center in like the medical field. That's kind of how I ended up in medical transcription, because it was like behind the scenes. And I thought, well, medical reports, that's important. That makes a difference. And it was like, that wasn't it either. I was good at it. And I did well as far as I was accurate, and I never got in trouble for, whatever, but it just still was like. And then when they didn't let me take my time off, I just thought, what am I doing this for? It's not it. It's just not it. So I knew that a lot of my stuff was because I didn't believe that I could do something different. I did not have the belief in myself that I could get on here and go live. Okay, I'm being real with you guys right now, because it's not helpful for me to come on here and pretend and say things that aren't true. And like, I'm transparent about all of this. But in order for me to get on here and go live and talk about all this, like, I had to have some sort of belief in myself. And I realized it's not whether or not the program works. It's whether or not I believe in me. Because at the end of the day, when people say, which I'm just making this up because this isn't something that I've seen personally, but like if someone were to say, oh, that program, that don't work, that doesn't work. Well, it's education, number one. So that's like saying that class in college that you thought, that class doesn't work, because you don't leave that class and just automatically go make 6 figures doing whatever the class taught you. But you pay for the class, right? You pay for a class at college to teach you whatever the skill is, whatever the education, or whatever the subject of the class is. It's teaching you something, right? So you have knowledge. Like, that's what you get for your money. You're paying for information and education on how to do something. So this program that's what it is, number one. First, it's education. So when you pay for it, you're getting education. Nobody can say that they didn't get something, like that you pay and you get an education. But the best part is, like, with the education, you get a built-in opportunity to test out what you're learning. It's almost like if you were to go to, what would we call it? Like like an apprenticeship or something. If somebody was learning how to be a welder and they go to class or a program and they're like, oh, you get to work with Bob, this welder, and he's going to teach you on-the-job training, but you're going to get paid for your time too, because you're going to be actually welding. That's what this is. You get the education, but then they're like, oh, but you can turn around and share this education with other people and make 100% profit. And you're like, wait, what? Okay. And again, I'm the first one to say, like, what's the catch? Because to me, it just sounded like a no-brainer. I was like, well, wait. So I get to learn how to do it. And I don't know what I want to do long term. I know I want to be in the online space, and I'm pretty sure I want to have my own product of some kind. But I don't know how that's all going to play out, but I don't need to know that. But I can practice the skills that they're teaching me and just go from there. And I have a built-in opportunity. And not only is it helping me learn the process, I'm able to help other people change their life too. I mean, it literally was one of those moments. I'm just like, wait, this is everything I've been looking for. So once I realized that, then it came down to this. The moment you doubt you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it. So I reversed that. The moment I believe in myself, all the things start unlocking in front of me. When I picked my domain, buildingwealthwithkatie.com, I picked the word wealth because money is involved, but wealth is so much more than money. Like, money is just a piece of it. wealth of health, wealth of knowledge, wealth of relationships, wealth of connection, wealth of, like, I mean, you could say abundance, but I picked the word wealth because it just felt like it connected more to like what I wanted and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to help other people with. And so once I decided it was everything I've been looking for, then I just thought, what's stopping me? Me. Like, I'm stopping me. I'm blocking the abundance by saying no to all the opportunities that are exactly what I'm looking for. I don't even know how many I passed up before this, but I also know, well, that must have been part of the plan, because I'm here now and it's just like the best thing ever. I'm having so much fun. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm jumping on lives. I'm sitting here doing my nails for my I don't know. I'm rolling with it. But it took me a minute to get here because I was getting in my own way. And I want to help other people see that, whether it's digital marketing or something else. Like, of course, I'm going to tell you about this program, because if you want to be in the online space doing something, because let's be real, the e-learning, okay, or anything online, it's booming. Like, it's not slowing down. There's more and more things that are going to be digital and online. And, after COVID, it was like everything just kind of like, so I want to be in the online space. Why not? I can reach, it's international. This program and this business also is international. It's not just limited to local, but for me, that's what I want. I'm like, I want to be able to stay home, bring in meaningful income, and help other people change their life too, like from the comfort of my own home, because I am a homebody. I like to be home. I don't mind once in a while if we think about we want to go somewhere or whatever, but like I like being home. Plus I get really car sick. I don't know if you guys deal with that, but sometimes like the idea of a long road trip, I'm like, got lots of peppermint oil. If you do get car sick, peppermint essential oil, game changer. So anyway, I was like, if I can do all that from the comfort of my own home, why would I not? So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm sharing. So I don't even know what time it is, because TikTok won't show me the time anymore when I'm live, which is really weird. But I'm supposed to be, I have another clock back here. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. So I'm going on at 9 on my other. So I have time. I'd love to answer any questions if anybody coming in just has a question, or so I'll tell you a little bit about the process. So if you go to, I usually type it in. If you go to buildingwealthwithkatie.com and you put in your email address, I will send you an email with the information. But you can also reply to those emails with questions, because you might not have a question until you like start reading about it or looking at it into it, and you might be like, oh wait, I want to know. So like, I'm here. I'm not just trying to throw something at you and then being like, good luck, hope it works out, peace. Like, I'm not doing that. I want to be here for you, like, because I know that's what I had. I will say the community is also a huge selling point, because everybody in there is so super supportive. And really, when I started, I was in the community. Like, I mean, you can go to the search bar and you can just type in what question you have, and somebody in there has already asked the question, almost guaranteed. If not, you can always start your own, question, but like there's people in there that are ready to answer like almost immediately. But on top of that, for somebody just kind of like more one-on-one, like, I'm here. I am not trying to just throw something out there and just, but I will say you don't have to be super techie. You don't really, I didn't know anything about digital marketing. I knew like of what a funnel was or an email list. Like, I mean, I knew what an email list was. I kind of knew, I knew what a landing page was and all that kind of stuff, but like I never knew how it all worked together. And so I was trying to find all like the free information, and how many YouTube videos I've watched over the years, like how do you, what is a landing page? How do you get, just whatever. But let's just say I figured out all of that. You still have to pay for somebody to host your landing page, which is your website, like my buildingwealthwithkatie.com. I would still have to pay somebody to host that. And then I would have to pay like something for my email list and all that. So the fact that you get in a program that gives you the education, but not only that, you get the system for free. They give you the automated system because this works on automations too. I can tell you that I've had people purchase the program and like I was sleeping. It works when you're not working. I think I did this wrong. Oh no, I didn't. So, how it works is there's 4 products. And you get in where you can get in, there, and each one is kind of like the step up. But I will say the number one bestseller for a reason is $900. It's the Legacy Builder. And so there's a 900, a 600, a 300, and a 100. And so whichever one you purchase, then you're able to resell. So if you get the Legacy, you get to resell the 900, 600, 300, and 100, and you get 100% profit. There's no percentage that goes to anybody else, because I know that's one of the questions or one of the comments I get a lot is, oh, that's a pyramid. Well, you can't have a pyramid and make 100% profit. That's not how it works. A pyramid is like you have somebody at the top that kind of like gets a cut, or it's an MLM. Same thing, because I've been part of an MLM, which I honestly never really had an issue with it, but I can understand now making 100% profit versus making a percentage, how huge of a difference that is, and a game changer. So you get 100% profit, so there's nobody's getting a cut of that. It literally goes right into your bank account. There's no, like, you set up your own payments, your own payment like platforms and stuff, like PayPal or Stripe, and it goes right to you. So that's it. I wish I could make it harder than that, but really that's it. And what I'm promoting is the education and the business on the back end of that you can earn while you learn. That's it. And trust me, I tried to figure out what the catch was. I sat there trying to figure out. I was like, okay, it sounds great. Like, what am I missing? And it's like, no, you're not missing anything. What was happening was my brain, like our brain's number one job is to keep us safe. So my brain was trying to come up with all kinds of reasons why this was not legit. It's like, wait a second. And how was that showing up? I don't know. It was showing up with people around me, certain people around me that were like, you can't do that. Oh, nobody cares what you have to say. Like, you're not going to be successful. That's how it was showing up. Because then it was like, and I don't know about you guys, but I spent deliberately, like, I decided one day that I needed to do what I wanted to do and tune out the people that were keeping me further from that. I don't know if that even made sense the way I just said it. I just remember sitting on the couch one day. I remember the exact moment where, and I'm just going to be real, I was like, I am so sick of myself right now. I am sick of feeling sorry for myself. I'm sick of just being like, oh, I can't do this, or listening to people, or being, like a people pleaser to the point where it was to spite myself, like it was against me. It was like, oh, I need to make sure they're comfortable. I need to make sure I do something that makes them comfortable so they don't have to be like, oh, I don't know what she's doing. Because that's how I always felt. I always felt like I want to do something completely different than what everybody's doing around me. I know I can't be the only one that was having those thoughts. And it took me down into this depression of just feeling like I was beating myself up. I was like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just figure it out like other people? But I also knew that I couldn't figure it out. It was like this vicious cycle. And I remember just sitting on the couch and I was like, I'm so sick of myself right now. I don't want to live like this. And then I took some steps to be like, okay, what can I do right now? Once I realized it's about mindset, okay? And then it was like a friend saying, yeah, like, why don't you, work with this person? Because I worked with this person and she helped me so much to really like understand what my brain was doing. And I went all in for the first time in my life. At that moment, that was 3 years ago, let's say, roughly. I went all in and I said, I'm going to do this for me. And I'm going to figure it out. And here I am. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm making beans. Excuse me. Let me get a quick drink. I didn't know, I'm going to pay for a life coach. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know. I'm going to figure out how to do it because I'm going to invest in me. And little did I know, even doing that at the time, I was signaling to the universe to say, I'm ready. I'm going to learn the skills and the tools for me because I think I know, even though I have zero clue how to get there, I know I'm worth it. And even when I said it the first time, I was like, because I can remember one of the first exercises that my first life coach had was to listen to these affirmations, the I am affirmations. I don't know if you guys have ever done them, but she pointed me to a specific one and she's like, every single day, first thing, if you can, first thing, I want you to listen. And it was listen and then say it out loud. I could barely listen to them without going, like it was, like, I am beautiful. It was like nails on the chalkboard. I heard that and I'm like, I could barely listen to it, let alone say it. I was that far into whatever I was in that I couldn't see the beauty in anything. I couldn't see what was right in front of me. I knew I loved my kids and I have a super amazing, supportive husband. And I was just stuck in this yuck, whatever. And she said, it's gonna feel like that, but keep going. Just keep going. I'm like, okay, well, I committed to doing this. I committed for 6 months. It's like, I'm going all in. And so every day, first thing, and I would play it, and I'm just like, and I would listen, and I'm like, I ain't saying it. I got all like this attitude. I talk to myself too a lot. So I would listen to it like either in my car or somewhere, and she would say the affirmation. I'd be like, I'm not saying it. You can't make me. And it was kind of like one of those things. It was like, okay, don't say it then. And I would tell my life coach that because she'd be like, well, how's that going? I'm like, well, I'm not saying it. She's like, that's fine. Just keep going. So I don't remember how long into it, but it was a pretty short amount of time. I found myself being able to repeat the affirmation. And it would say, I am beautiful. And I would say, I am beautiful. And I'm like, wait, did I just say that? And I didn't like cringe like nails on the chalkboard. Okay. Okay. And maybe it was just the one. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not saying anymore. Like, let's not push, don't push your luck kind of thing. Just keep going. And so I kept going because if I didn't know anything in that moment, I knew that I didn't want to be where I was. Like, I had hit that point where I was like, I am done. I don't know why I get stuffy when I get emotional or talking or... I said that last time. Okay. All I knew in that moment was I didn't want to stay where I was. I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know anything. I know now that I didn't need to know how. I just knew that I didn't want to be there anymore. And I also knew that it was a choice, which was super hard to hear in the moment because it felt like just somebody where you just wanted to be like, you don't know me. Like it felt like an attack. And when it was of this realization, like, you're choosing to be in that position right now. And you want to be like, no, you want to lash out, just be like, you don't know my situation. You don't know blah, blah, blah. Maybe they don't. But you're still choosing to be there. And the biggest thing that came out of all of that, and the biggest thing that pushed me forward was, it's happening for a reason, number one. Whatever it is. Whatever that thing is that you're like, you don't know what it's like to fill in the blank. Okay. And look, you're here right now. You're here. So you got through it. What does that say about you? If I go back to the live I did yesterday, we talked about gratitude. And if you aren't seeing it as, and again, in the moment, you're never going to be like, oh, thank you, Lord, for this person that just rear-ended me and totaled my car. Oh, thank you so much. Like, I know you're not going to do that. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to feel the emotion of somebody hating you. You're like, oh my gosh. Okay, but then what? Are you going to just wallow in it? Or are you going to look at the situation and say, what is this teaching me? What is it showing me? Because that's where the magic happens. Once you can start seeing situations that come up in your life and scenarios as learning moments, you'll feel the shift. You will see it happening before your eyes in the best ways possible. Now, it doesn't mean that, like, we're never supposed to get to a point, like, it's not about figuring out how to not ever be hurt or not ever be sad or not ever be disappointed. Like, that's not the point. The point is you're gonna have moments like that. But you can also choose how you're going to look at it. You're supposed to feel sadness. Have you guys seen, oh my gosh, what's the movie called? Because I think there's a part 2 out right now about the emotions. It's a cartoon movie. Shoot, what is it called? I don't know. As soon as I hit done on my live, I'll think of it. I can't think of it. But anyway, you're supposed to feel all of your emotions. Like, it's not about how to not feel sad. It's about, okay, you can feel sad, but then what do you do with it? But then where do you go after that? That's what it's about. Acknowledging it and then saying, okay, now I get to choose where to go from here. But it's always, the ball is always in your court. Because you get to choose how you move forward or not. And this opportunity was no different for me. Again, there was probably so many other opportunities that came across my path that I was just like, yeah, right, no, can't do that, I don't know how to do that. Like all these things that I just kept doing that. And I am, this is how I imagine it. I imagine God just being like, keep saying you need help. You keep saying you want guidance and you're just ignoring what I'm showing you. And like, that's kind of in a, like, makes me giggle kind of way where I feel like that's what was happening before. And he's just like, oh, what do you want from me? But I also know that I wasn't supposed to see this opportunity then, if that makes sense too. Like, I guess I was supposed to say no to those. I don't know. All I know is there's been so much self-growth for me, personal growth, since January when I really like discovered all this and got in, that here's how you know. Here's how you know you're doing something. Well, two things. If you can talk about it nonstop, okay? But if you imagine, like if I sit and imagine not doing this like tomorrow, I'd be like, wait, why not? Like I would feel like something was missing. That's how I know that this is the right path. Like you know. And it's like finding your bliss. It's kind of the same idea. I don't know if you guys have watched, and I say this a lot, Finding Joe. It's a recommendation I have. It was free on YouTube for a long time. I haven't watched it in a while because I've watched it a few times. If it's free or not. Oh, they're making me do this thing. Okay. But check it out. It's called Finding Joe. It's a documentary. And it's about the hero's journey, okay? And there are so many golden nuggets in that if you're ready to kind of just level up in your life, again, whether it's this or something else, like I am here to dream big with you, whatever it is. And so if you're ready and you just kind of you just want to, watch something to maybe inspire you or to give you a little insight, Finding Joe is amazing. I loved it. So with that being said, I do have to jump off here. Thank you guys for joining. And if you're interested in the digital marketing, what I'm talking about, the program, the Legacy Builder, you can go to www.buildingwealthwithkatie.com, put in your email, and I'll send you an email with the information. And you can reply to any of the emails with questions you have. And I'm here for you. Like, I'll answer them. And I'm going to be honest and transparent about it. So if you're looking for an opportunity, something where you can learn and you can earn at the same time, you can learn skills on, how the social media platforms work and the algorithms and just strategy on how to kind of get in front of the eyeballs and find your perfect customer, all that good stuff. It's in there. Plus some. Stuff that you wouldn't even know you were looking for is in there. Okay, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and we'll talk soon. buildingwealthwithkatie.com. All right, take care. Bye.